Last night, Alabama got that official commitment from DaShawn Jones, the transfer cornerback from Wake Forest. We knew it was coming, but then it didn't happen. We're like, hey, is this going to happen? Well, it is official, and I think it's the beginning of some big transfers yet to come to help Alabama as they head into the football season. It's a big win for Coach DeBoer and his staff. We're going to talk about that. I got a feeling I know who's going to be next. Going to mention that as well. How about Nick Saban and Kalen DeBoer playing golf? Same place, same time. Coach Saban laid back. He's talking. Coach DeBoer, hey, he's talking about the offense, the football program. We're going to dig into a couple of things that he said about Jalen Milroe and about the guy that's going to snap him the football this year. Plus, basketball just continues to play an amazingly difficult schedule, but that's why they're so good. Anytime, any place, anywhere, any opponent. All that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's a way of saying roll tide. And let's get this party started. Let's do this thing. Here's your invitation to the best tailgate on the quad, everybody. Roll tide. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the party. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick. Big Sexy Elmo. I know you guys are going, where's Big Sexy Elmo? He's on assignment today, but he'll be back tomorrow. I hate to do it without him, but we just got to roll. Just a group of us. We got to roll. We got so much to talk about, so let's get into that right now. But at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. And make sure that you guys hit the bell so when something breaks and we drop a quick video that you'll have access to it. All right, let's get into that right now. Last night, we got official word that DaShawn Jones has committed to Alabama. We had Clint Lamb on a couple of days ago, and we talked to him, and I'm like, hey, do we have anything to worry about here? I heard he was coming, but then, we don't see the official word. And that's what he said. He said, where's the official commitment? They'll put it out, whatever. Official commitment. So Alabama does get Jones. And there were a lot of other schools that wanted to have him, but Alabama needed him. It wasn't like, hey, it was, hey, we need help in this spot. And I'm going to get into the reasons why. But first, let me tell you about him. You guys know I'm from Baltimore. So anytime that I see a guy coming our way from, Charm City, I'm going, okay, he's going to come in and make an impact. And Alabama has done a great job of going up there to the Mid-Atlantic and bringing down players like this that can make a difference. Mount St. Joseph, great area, great high school. Cornerback listed at 6'170". I got him up there at 180, somebody told me. But he's going to help out a lot. And you talk about 37 tackles, 3 interceptions, 2 more years of eligibility. He's a player that you had to have if you were Alabama, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason is that you don't have anybody really in that spot. You've got a lot of young talent, and I'm going to start there because I absolutely love Jalen Mbakwe from Clay Chalkville. I think that eventually he's going to be one of those Alabama guys who goes on to the NFL draft, does big things in college, and is a difference maker. He's a leader. He's smart. He's athletic. He can do anything on the football field, but he's a freshman. I mean, he's just recruited, right? Jay Mincy, another guy, what do they call him? Bam Bam. I mean, he's another dude that can get in there and mix it up, but doesn't have any experience. Xavier Brown. These 3 guys are super talented, but they just don't have any experience. You got Damani Jackson, who's listed as a junior. He's the guy we tried to get a few years ago. He went to USC, and then when Alabama was out there at the Rose Bowl, remember, he came by practice, got him. He transferred in, and then Jaleel Hurley, who is another guy who played for Alabama. I mean, he's the only guy with experience, and he doesn't have that much experience. And the reason why is that secondary last year was super talented. Just at the cornerback spot, you lost Terrion Arnold in the first round of the draft. Kool-Aid McKinstry in the second round of the draft, and then a bunch of guys transferred. And we still don't even know why some of these guys left, because they would have gotten a ton of playing time. But Trey Amos left, Earl Little Jr. left, Antonio Kite left, Des Ricks left, Jameer Grimsley left. And I think he left just because he was so highly recruited. I think it was a tough decision for him coming to Alabama. And it was like, hey, you know what? I don't know this coaching staff, but all of those guys left. And it made a big void in that cornerback spot. And then think about the entire secondary. Jalen Key, lost him, right? Kristen Story, lost him. Jake Pope, lost him, transferred to Georgia. Just last week, Peyton Woodyard transferred to Oregon. And then Caleb Downs, the one that broke all of our hearts, Ohio State, where the money is flowing like wine, right? So he's gone. And then you start to look in that secondary, and in the safety spot, you got Malachi Moore. That's a senior. You know, it gives you some depth there. Devontae Smith, and then Keon Sabb, who is one of Alabama's top transfers. That's a big one. Tony Mitchell, Bray Hubbard, and Cameron Howard are guys that can help out too as sophomores. You got Red Morgan, and then Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. Jake Coker, our buddy on the Elephant in the Room podcast, was like, I really like what I saw with Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., watching him play in the 8A game. So that secondary needed some help. Safety's a lot stronger right now than cornerback, but by adding Jones, I think it really does help that area. And it just gives you some depth, because, you know, God forbid someone gets hurt, you know, who's going to play that spot, right? Well, now that gives you a little bit of help in that area. Now, I said I'm going to tell you guys who I think is next. And this is an easy one. This is a layup, right? Unless somebody sneaks in between. But I think Alabama is going to get Geno VanDeMark, and he's going to play for Coach Cap. How many of you got on to me for mispronouncing Coach Cap's name? If it was easy to pronounce, no one would call him Coach Cap. They would just call him by his first name. When I was at Alabama, I had a professor, and maybe some of you guys had him too, in political science, named Dr. Alzacoffey. Well, I figured out how to say that, but everybody knew him as Dr. A. Dr. A, like that on my hat right there. So I'm just going to call him Coach Cap too, because I guess I look dumb when I couldn't say his name right. But I tried my hardest. I will tell you that. And maybe I am dumb. Who knows? I just get on here and talk football with you guys every day. And I get in the comment section and I see that. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks a lot, pals, for this. Now, I want to talk about something else too, before we get into Coach DeBoer and Coach Saban at Alabama practice. And the comments, love the comments. Somebody put this long comment in there. It was a pretty good comment, but they're like, Mick, you keep talking about the transfer portal. You sound like an Auburn apologist. Okay, those are fighting words to me, because I hate Auburn. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Look, it's nothing personal, but it goes back to when I played lacrosse at Alabama and they beat us and their fans were throwing bottle caps at our lacrosse team, our Alabama lacrosse team. That's when I realized, like, this is a rivalry. I'm not the guy transferring from Alabama to Auburn or vice versa. You know, I'm not an apologist. It's the same thing when we were saying that there was a chance that Nick Saban might retire before he retired. And some of you guys were mad. That's what we're doing here. This is news. I mean, I know we make it fun, but it is news. And we're trying to talk about situations, and talking about the NIL situation that Alabama has going on right now is important. Now, I'm not saying that Auburn has a better NIL than us, because I don't think they do. I'm just saying that when you see Ohio State coming in, they take our best player, they take Ole Miss's best player, they're throwing money out everywhere. Look at the situation and you're going, why aren't these guys staying? It's the state of the game that we're in right now. There's no rules. I'm not happy about it. And me talking about that isn't saying, hey, we're weak. It's saying, hey, we've got to get stronger in that area. It's not, look, we're still Alabama. I mean, this team is still ranked. I saw the early season rankings. You know, we're still in the top 10, but we're not number 1 right now. We're number 2. And think about it. How many times have we been ranked like 7th? You know? So the point that I'm making is it's very fixable, and they're working on that right now. But what I'm telling you is that we just got to support it. And I'm not saying that it means that we have to support it with money. We just have to realize that there's an issue, that the world of college football is like the Wild West. And we've got to get John Wayne to come in and help clean it up. Until that happens, we've got to look at this for what it is. So don't think that I'm, harping on us and not wanting it to be better. I'm just saying it's an issue that we're working through. Now we're still in good shape, but it could be a lot better. You don't want Caleb Downs leaving. Although I've heard it's not about money, but look, man, when people tell you that, it's always about money. I think I've learned that in my, however many years I am old, because I don't want to say that. Really ruined my night. Coach DeBoer was at the golf tournament. Everybody in Birmingham golfing around, right? And he's so great. Love this guy. Love the fact that he'll do anything media. Now it was awesome to see Nick Saban on with our friends at the next round and talking about retirement and how it's a different lifestyle for him and and Little Debbie snacks and all that kind of stuff. Still love Coach. Wish him the best. And I can't wait to watch him on TV. All right, but I want to talk about what's going on currently at Alabama with our football program, and hopefully he can get on that NIL train, get out there and help us raise some cash. But the guy that's behind the calling the plays right now, running the program, is actually Coach DeBoer, and he was asked about Jalen Milroe and basically what he wanted to see from Jalen Milroe. And he said, "Hey, man, this guy basically won him over. He was really impressed with Milroe, what he brings to the table. But basically what he said when fall camp hits is that he wants him having 100% confidence in every concept that they put in. He said that he wants that to be early so that rep after rep, they just execute it and he knows how to run the whole show. Basically knowing that him being able to command the offense is going to help everyone else, helping other players get into position, knowing where other players need to go. I just have spent, you guys watch it, the elephant in the room, talked about it with Jake Coker. You get on here with these quarterbacks, and part of their job is being able to help guys on the field know where they got to be sometimes. Being able to change plays at the line of scrimmage, being able to audible, being able to spot stuff, and so there's so much thinking that goes on. And that's kind of where he wants the next step to be, is just being 100% confident in everything that Alabama puts in. And I think that Jalen Milroe is going to give the effort. That I've heard that from the very beginning. You guys know I've talked about it a lot, that Jalen Milroe is driven, that he is a machine when it comes to putting in work. And that means he's a lot of times one of the first guys in the facility. He's there constantly, doing whatever he can to get better. And he looks at this as his senior year, which means he's going to the NFL at the end of this year. And when you look at some of the mock drafts and you look at some of the Heisman, early Heisman odds, he's up there in both of those. And I think he really wants to live up to that. And this is going to be a new offense for him. But I think this is going to be the first time in a while that Alabama has had an offense that is really going to be tough for defenses to really break down. And I know we've had some success, got the offense going last year, but did you ever really feel like it was when Sark was the offensive coordinator, when Loxley or Kiffin, the way that those guys ran offense, misdirection, just basically confusing defenses, attacking the defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how Milroe does. And then the other part of it too is how the other quarterbacks pick it up. Is there going to be a quarterback battle this fall? Because I've heard that Ty Simpson has really done a great job. So that's what you want in sports. You want guys pushing each other, because if Milroe leaves, it'd be great to have Simpson just slide right into that spot the following year at worst, right? So it was good to hear that. Now, the other question that a lot of us have is what's going on at center, right? And we know that Parker Brailsford was there some, but not, had some personal things, didn't play as much in the in the spring. And then Brockermeyer transferred. So now you have no depth, which is the world we live in with college athletics now, right? Hey, I don't think I'm going to start. I'm out of here. Well, DeBoer was asked about Parker, and he said, no question, he'll be ready to go. And he's very confident that he's going to be ready to go in that spot. So now think about it. You lost Brockermeyer. He transferred. And as much as I don't think any of us are saying, well, we wish we had Seth McLaughlin, he did transfer, right? So, who do you have left in that spot, right? That could slide in and absolutely, run the offense from the center spot, which is one of the most important, spots on the field. And, you just don't have a lot of experience, right? Montgomery and Sanders and Ionetta, I don't know. I mean, but the bottom line is this, is that bringing Brailsford with you from Washington tells us that you're really comfortable with him being able to help with the offense. And I think that's important. And I think Milroe's going to have a center this year that he can rely on, that he doesn't have to chase the football over his head. We'll find out because, from Ohio State, you just keep hearing stuff like, that there's more reasons for bad snaps. And it wasn't just the fact that the snap was bad, people clapping, maybe the quarterback didn't do this or that. We'll find out. But this guy was one of the best in the country at the position, came from an offensive line that was one of the tops in the country. And so I guess we can rest at ease, although the question had to be asked. I think all of us assumed that Parker Brailsford was going to be the guy snapping the football. Switching gears to basketball, I can't say enough about this basketball program. And I love the fact that they go out there and play everybody. And so the latest is that Alabama and Illinois are finishing an agreement to play. They're going to play in Birmingham, and then they'll go back and play in Illinois. Now, this was a team that was 29-9 last year, 14-6 in the Big Ten. They lost to UConn just like Alabama did in the Elite Eight. We lost to them in the Final Four, but they were a number 2 seed. This is a good program. They are a team that is constantly pushing, and maybe it's not year after year, but, consistently, Illinois is a really good program. So you talk about what's going on right now with this program. We got Creighton coming to Alabama in December. You got that. We talked about it yesterday, the Vegas NIL tournament, right? Where if you win it, you get a bunch of money. And that includes Houston and Notre Dame and Rutgers and Oregon, San Diego State and Texas A&M, and maybe another school. I guess they got to have one more. So who knows who the other is. But these guys go out there and play everybody. And I'll tell you, the biggest compliment that I can give to Nate Oats is when Alabama was in the Sweet 16 and you start running through all the teams, they had either played those teams or that season or the year before, all but like 3 of them. So they were familiar with what those teams do. And they had beaten some of them and they had lost to some of them. But the fact is that they had played those teams and weren't afraid. Some on the road, some at home. It wasn't all in tournaments, and I think that's important as well. So can't say enough about what this basketball program's doing. And I think like I talked about with the NIL, we got to, continue to support it. We got to get behind it. Basketball, I'm ready to go to some games. I don't know if I'm going to wear a hard hat like my buddy Fluff and a coat, or if I'm going to paint my face, or I'm just going to show up and watch. But I cannot wait to support what's going on right now. I've been a basketball fan for a long time, but this right now, what this program is doing is next level. It's so much fun to see that. I love that Bruce Pearl's taking shots at us because our tickets are $5 and it's $500 to get into their games or whatever he said. I like that about him because all it does is just motivate us, and he should be worried. He should be talking about us because we just got in the Final Four. We won the SEC a bunch of times, won the tournament. Like this Nate Oats guy is legit. Then he goes out and signs this class after everyone bolts, right? Well, we're going to cash in on the Final Four, brings in better players. Now, will they mesh? I don't know. And will Mark Sears be back? I think he will, but it's not official yet, right? He's still hoping to get into the NBA. So all of that stuff is kind of out there, but adding another premier game to the schedule, and this one would be in Birmingham from what I understand, I think it's great. And I think going to Birmingham and playing, I like it when they play in Mobile. I like it when that basketball team basically goes around the state and the country and will play anybody. All right, guys. Finally, I want to tell you that this is our code at newlifeart.com. It's Bama Tailgate. And right now, the new offer is 25% off orders. That excludes new releases, but that doesn't exclude a lot of great stuff. Like, I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Eddie Lacy running over Manti Te'o. And that, look, there's Jake Coker. You love him. We've talked about him 3 times now on the show. I mean, how normally we don't even mention his name, but we have 3 times tonight. And there he is on the middle of that Sweet 16 poster, or actually print that we've got framed. And he signed it. I signed it before I even knew him. But all of those are available at newlifeart.com. They're beautiful. I love them all. Honestly, they're like my kids. I can't really pick a favorite. Maybe this one right here, the put away. They don't have that one there though. But that's the Antoine Petway, just because I was on court side for that. And it took me so many years to get it. But anyway, you guys want to pimp out your man cave? We've done that here. That's going to help you out. 25% off orders at newlifeart.com. Thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I want to throw a shout out to our main man, Catfish. Trying to get him back on here sometime soon. But the Cat, if you're in the world for a mortgage, you need a little bit of help. He's a great advisor. He's helped over 10,000 families get into their homes. He helped me get into this studio in my house as well. He's an investment consultant and an Airbnb expert. That's his phone number there. ChadwickAnderson.com. He's not going to do you wrong. And he's a Bama guy. So roll tide, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. And I promise without a doubt that Big Sexy Elmo will be on here tomorrow. Roll tide, everybody.